Hey, thanks for joining me. So a while back I posted a video about this sharpening stone, this bench stone, and I thought it might be a Japanese natural stone because it's made of sedimentary rock, and the only reference I really found just doing a search online for sedimentary rock used for sharpening stones was Japanese natural stones. But I had a viewer, Toro Blanco, and I really appreciate this person sending me a message. He wrote, could be a Hindostan from Indiana. Then he asked some questions about it. So I started looking into what Hindostan stones are and what they look like, and I'm very convinced that this stone is in fact not a Japanese natural stone, but in fact a Hindostan stone. Something I'd never heard of, so that's pretty fascinating. I mean, I've been around knives and sharpening stones and stuff all my life, and living in Oklahoma, and we're next door to Arkansas. Arkansas stones are kind of the thing around here. I mean, that's what just about, if you're not using Japanese water stones or something, you're using an Arkansas stone. And frankly, Japanese water stones didn't really become a thing until the last decade or two. Before then, it was all Arkansas stones. Anyway, this stone is really nice and flat. I'm going to definitely put it to use. The way you use a Hindostan stone is a little bit different than a Japanese natural stone. I've read some people that do actually make a slurry on them, but a lot of people are saying don't do that, just get it wet and use it. Some people do use oil, some use water, though I think predominantly, from what I'm reading, people use water on these. Anyway, the viewer, Toro Blanco, had some questions. He asked, does it cut fast or slow? And I think the answer to that is this thing cuts pretty slow. It's the finish that it puts on the steel is not too different really from what I get using flex cut gold on a leather strop. If you're familiar with flex cut carving tools, they make a polishing compound called flex cut gold, and you rub it on a leather strop and strop the blades. And I have a piece of leather glued to the backside of a diamond stone, a DMT diamond stone that I use so it's nice and flat, and I use that to strop the blades after I sharpen. And the polish that I get from that flex cut gold and the finish that this stone provided look very similar. I'm going to have to, that's under a magnifier, pretty strong magnifier. I probably have to get it under a microscope to really see what the difference is. Maybe it doesn't matter. But it definitely makes a very sharp edge and very polished. He also asked how hard it is compared to a hard Arkansas, and was it easy to make a slurry. Wasn't too hard to make a slurry on it, though it didn't make as much of a slurry as I had expected, like you'd get from a Japanese water stone. The stone, it's sedimentary rock. I would imagine just looking at it, there's some nicks and dings on some of the corners. In terms of hardness, I don't know how it compares to a hard Arkansas stone. I've got some hard Arkansas stones that are like translucent stones that are just, they're very hard. This being sedimentary rock, I would imagine that it is a little bit softer. But, and I say this is sedimentary rock, it really, it isn't anymore. So the rock was sedimentary, but then, now I forget, my geology is terrible, but it has been transformed into stone that's no longer what you'd call sedimentary, though it does still have the sedimentary lines in it. And that may not be accurate, but I like I say, I'm no geology expert. Anyway, he said make a video with it outside in the daylight with a slurry on it and without, wet and dry, and to be honest, I haven't had time to do that. And today's kind of cloudy, so it probably wouldn't be that helpful. But just looking at pictures of Hindostan stones online and the color and the way the sedimentary lines look and the the type of stones, and the fact that this was from an old, obviously some kind of old collection of sharpening stones. There was a couple of Arkansas stones and this stone together, probably from the same person. Like I say, I found them at a thrift store, so somebody, obviously someone probably passed away and someone took their stuff and gave it to the thrift store. And I just, based on the age and stuff, I really kind of doubt it's as likely to be a Japanese water stone. Is probably much more likely to be the Hindostan. So I'm pretty convinced, like 95% convinced that that's what this is, a Indiana Hindostan stone. One of the things that's kind of interesting about these is the Hindostan stone, this type of material, was fairly commonly used to make tombstones or grave markers, and that's kind of weird. So there's a lot of people that actually look for grave markers made of this kind of stone. It's kind of a thing in that Indiana area. So anyway, I believe what I really have here is a Hindostan. Anyway, appreciate you watching. If you have any thoughts or comments, please don't hesitate to leave me a comment. If you would, please click on the like and subscribe buttons. And as always, thanks for watching.